This is Slim and Light, and today we have the owner and director of GalleryX, Giovanni Giusti. How are you doing?
Hello.
Amazing. This is really good. I'm really happy to be here. I saw some of your paintings. I saw the permanent installation with the tree of life and how it really is, bound together and held back by technology. We saw the different paintings by Sergio, right?
Silvio Severino.
Silvio, yes. And I really liked some of these paintings that brought and invoked pictures that have not gone into my mind for the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. Dreams that I had, and this kind of surrealism hybrid in nature. We saw curious gay walls, so it's a very, very interesting place you have here, and I'm really interested in talking about this with you.
Okay,
and can you maybe talk about how you got into being the director and owner of this place, and where is your story? Tell us about
okay,
yourself.
well, my story. I come from Florence in Italy, where we're kind of obsessed with visual art. Ireland has, a lot of great art when it comes to music, theater, literature, poetry. But in Florence, we're more interested in visual arts. We have this obsession with, the Renaissance, at the time when it was an important place in the world. So anyway, I moved to Dublin nearly 20 years ago, and my job kind of is portable. So I worked from home for a number of years. And I used to go to galleries here, and I thought, this is kind of boring. Either there's art is very commercial or it's very institutional. It doesn't seem to be a very exciting art scene. And I was grumbling and complaining, and then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just start an art gallery myself. I mean, how hard can it be to start an art gallery? So I did. That was December 2014. I decided that's what I would do for, I wouldn't say fun or entertainment, just kind of just to fulfill a mission of some sort, to tickle the minds of the people with the stuff that I show. That's kind of my desire, and bring people together that are interested in this type of art. Yeah, so that's how I started. I just thought, I'll just do it instead of complaining. Of course, that means that I have to do everything very cheaply because I'm not a professional of the arts. I don't know how to, get rich people to give me money, which is kind of the point. And I don't deal with the public sector because I just don't know how to do that, and it's just really not really my scene. So I have to just not spend too much money and hope that the few sales that I do get are enough to pay the rent. That's kind of my ambition. Yeah, so that's how I started. Just a feeling that someone had to do something about the slightly moribund scene that there was. In the meanwhile, there have been other galleries that have done interesting things. So unfortunately, they close quite quickly because just the money isn't there. So that's the story.
Amazing. Yeah. And you talked about that. You came across galleries and they really weren't satisfying your thirst or your hunger.
Yeah.
And then you just thought, you know what? There isn't really my own collection or my own collections or my hub that I can go to. So let me create it by myself. And I really, that's really respectful. And we had actually another guest on. His name is Alexander Demetrius. And he wrote a book about the reward of not knowing. And it was about, him going out in the world and finding himself. You know, he went through different places. He saw a lot of things that he didn't really necessarily like at home. And then said, you know what, let me go out in the world and create my own adventure. And I think it's a similar kind of thing with you. You didn't go out in the world, but you went, you know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you would say that, because one of the things I always like to say about myself is that I'm a man of encyclopedic ignorance. So, I mean, I know nothing about everything.
Amazing.
So, and that, but that means that I just don't know very many things, but I am kind of interested in hearing about everything, from, you know, the things you just told me before to all those. So, and I think that's kind of the spirit also of this place. It's very open-minded. If someone comes up with something a bit, I just don't like the boring stuff. I mean, if anyone comes and proposes something exceptional, out of the ordinary, a bit strange, I would go, yeah, let's do it. You know, because life is already so dull that, you know, you want to do something a bit fun.
Thought August Thought. I can't pronounce it very well. There's a song by the Irish band Kneecap. It's called Thought. I'm butchering it because it's Irish. They rap in Irish, actually. And it's supposedly the meaning is that it's around and around, because that's what life is. You do the same routine, and they talk about it's just so mind numbing.
Yeah.
And you know, you're right that, you know, you already have this life that is already, you know, so mind numbingly dull. So you have created your own place of fascination.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Like-minded people can come to and enjoy a little bit of you know, surreal, something nice to see, and then they can go back. You know, it's a little bit of a battery recharger. You know, it's a nice place to be.
Yeah, I mean, again, because I don't know who anyone is, I don't have to respect any hierarchies. I just don't know what they are. I would love to respect them, but I don't know who anyone is. I don't know who's important.
Yeah.
I don't know what famous people look like. If you two came here, I think I would recognize one of them, but not the other three. So, you know, I'll be like, really?
Yeah.
And that kind of gives, well, actually, I had just opened the gallery. That was over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And this guy comes in. I had a friend there, she was sitting there, and, you know, this guy comes in, and I tell him, blah, 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 I show him around, and I say, oh, you know, you should come to some openings, and he says, oh, I don't do openings. I said, okay. Then I said, why don't you subscribe to a newsletter?
Right.
I said, oh, I don't do emails either. This was 10 years ago, so there was still some people who didn't do emails.
Sure.
But he writes down his home address. He says, oh, send me things. I say, fine. And I say, okay, and he leaves. And when he leaves, this woman who was with me, she says, do you know who that was? I said, no. That was Mike Murphy.
Okay.
And I said, who's Mike Murphy?
To be honest, I don't know.
Well, he was. I think at the time he had just stopped presenting the Late Late Show on TV, so he was a TV personality. But I didn't recognize. I don't know who it looked like. So the fact that I have no idea who anyone is, and usually I don't even know a lot of artists.
Yeah.
So
no, I think
you just follow your instinct.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of big names actually appreciate that. If not, some do. So, for example, I went to France this year. This is crazy. I walked close to the Louvre, and there was someone skateboarding, and I was like, "Oh, you're doing cool things." And I was talking to him normally. I was like, "Let's do it." I love doing selfies, so I took a selfie, and this guy walked by me and said, "Do you know who this is? He never takes selfies. Oh my God, do you know what he just did?" I was like, no, he was a cool person. He showed me this person. He has 65 million followers on Instagram. I was like, oh, great, amazing. But he appreciated that I treated him like a normal person. He didn't take a selfie with that guy who was losing his mind.
Yeah.
You know, some people, you know, I think it's possible that a lot of big names do appreciate being treated like human beings.
Yeah, just to make clear though, I don't do it on purpose.
No, I know.
Don't know who they are.
No,
if I actually do meet someone famous that I do recognize, I am like those people go, ah! So it's not like I'm cool. It's just I'm actually ignorant.
You haven't talked about yet what is the art that you really like.
Oh, I like art. Well, first of all, GalleryX is mostly devoted to representational art. So art that actually creates a picture of something.
Oh,
As
okay.
opposed to abstract art, which is, just of itself. I don't know, it's just the way I was brought up. That's kind of the thing that I understand. I really don't understand abstract art. I just look at it and I go, well, like everybody, I think I like art that gives me feelings.
Yeah.
And maybe, so stuff that is different and where I can see that there is a tension inside. Sometimes the tension between beauty and horror, sometimes the tension. So it has to be something that has some feeling and power inside, It's very, obviously, it can be very subjective, but sometimes things that are a bit bland, I don't like. And also another thing which is very important for me, also because of where I come from, I like technical skill, which is something that sometimes is not as appreciated in this country as in other places. The fact that something is really well made, and that something actually so well made that you go, wow, that's amazing. Someone who draws but it's not very good.
Yeah.
They might have very good ideas. They might have interesting, stuff, but it's always a bit of a letdown. So for me, even things that are so amazing, just because they're so well made, that they just give you awe and surprise. That's great. I'm hugely a fan of the Baroque, and the Baroque had this aesthetic of surprise. So it just, this skill that sort of it makes you go, whoa, I can't believe they could do that. That's one of the elements of Baroque. So it's also one of the things that I really appreciate about art, things that just sort of blow your mind in one way or another.
Have you heard about that Jan van Eyck?
The painter?
Yes,
from the 1600s?
I don't know, but he always made extremely detailed paintings.
Yeah.
There's one painting where there's a mirror in the back and you have to keep zooming in. And in the mirror, everything is like perfectly detailed. It's astonishing how he was able to paint this,
Yeah, well, yeah. People were very good at painting.
They sure were. But so for dolts like me who wouldn't know what Baroque is, could you by any chance explain it?
The Baroque was a genre of art, so painting and sculpture, that became very dominant in Europe in the 1600s. And it's shapes that are a bit improbable. They like curves where things should be straight. So one of the classic example of the Baroque. Have you been to Rome, to St. Peter's?
No, but I have seen pictures.
So in Rome, there's this giant structure in the middle of St. Peter. St. Peter is a giant church. Just the size is already a Baroque concept. Something that's just oversized. It's just too big for its own good. And in the middle, there's this kind of structure with columns. But the columns aren't straight. The columns are essentially, they look like fusilli pasta.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so, but the idea is that to surprise the viewer by making a column where the middle of the column is actually empty and it's actually just...
Wow.
Or there will be these sculptures where the material made of it's marble, but it looks like cloth. The technical skill was just.
I think I might have seen this one. They were shocking, yeah.
Or even just something much simpler, like they learned how to depict light. So there would be pictures in which there was a candle in the picture, but it's hidden. So you don't see the candle,
right?
But you see the light of the candle on the faces. all these just showing off amazing
Yeah.
feats of technique. That was
Yeah.
a classic theme of the Baroque.
Oh, wow.
But also, just shocking and surprising. Not shocking. So shocking sounds that you're just a bit, really trying too hard. But surprising people, that's very important.
Would that include the maybe it was from the Roman times, but there's this painting on the ground. Painting, but it's also structured with the stones that made up old Roman streets. Like, and it's so well constructed that after an earthquake, it still wasn't cracked anywhere. Have you ever
Okay.
seen this?
No, where is it?
Is
Is it a mosaic or painted?
It's
rock?
painted on the ground, but then there's still stones, these rectangle stones that made up this paint. It's part of the painting, and it's so well constructed that it thought of the upcoming earthquakes, and even after the earthquakes, the painting and construction is still goes with the waves of the earthquakes. It's mind-boggling.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling. So how I came across this was because someone who I had on previously as part of our most viewed and most listened to episode called Three Filmmakers. And one of those filmmakers, he is known to make very surreal art. He draws things that spring to his mind. And this guy is Tom O'Brien. He was part of the Tree Filmmaker episode. Please do listen and watch it if you have not yet. Every time I come across his stories, there's another drawing, very surreal. This monstrous figure or a person with long fingernails looking over a child. And it's very surreal. It's very technical. Like you can see that this guy can draw. I thought I could draw until I saw people like him, My question is, what are the things that everyone that watches this may be aware of, something that everyone may have already seen that invokes that kind of thing in you that you would love to have in your gallery, something that you may have come across?
Well, if people go to the National Gallery in Ireland, here in Dublin, which is just around the corner, if they had gone, there's a Caravaggio painting. Now, Caravaggio is probably the most famous Baroque painter. And that's quite something that I would like to have here to show.
Interesting.
He was a revolutionary artist, but also incredibly gifted in realism. He essentially invented the Baroque aesthetic by himself.
Oh, wow.
He was, for example, sacred art was obviously the most common art in the time because the church had the money and paid for it.
Sure.
And it was quite traditional, quite conservative. And he started making these paintings, religious paintings, because he was applying for jobs with the church as a painter. And he would make them, but they were completely different. They were, the canons were completely blown apart.
I see.
And he's one of the greats. He's probably the greatest in my personal view.
So he was the Tim Burton of his time. Because Tim Burton actually applied for Disney and got a job, but they didn't quite appreciate his vision.
Right. Yeah, maybe Tim Burton. I mean, he eventually had to run away from Rome because he murdered someone.
Okay.
So Tim Burton didn't get that
well,
far.
yeah.
But yeah. Life was a bit more complicated at the time. But yeah,
sure.
Something like Tim Burton, yeah, he was successful. I mean, he had some connoisseurs that really loved his art, including many churchmen. So he did get, he did have a life as a career as a painter, even a very important one. Always pushing the envelope.
Well, yes, that was the ultimate envelope to push.
Yes. Well, for example, now I'm getting a bit technical, but
sure.
Until Caravaggio started painting, saints were depicted with halos.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's how you could tell that someone was a saint.
Okay, yeah.
And they were depicted often in these fake and ancient clothing.
Yeah.
Well, he was the first one to depict scenes of the life of Jesus or of the saints
Right.
that were just looked like normal people.
Yeah,
They
fair
had no
enough, fair enough.
halos. They were dressed in contemporary clothes. They were in a normal setting, and that made them much more powerful because people could relate to them.
Yes.
But a lot of people in the church thought that was not okay
Yes.
because you can't have Christ without a halo,
Sure.
right? But other people did see it. It was post-Reformation, so there were all these things linked to that.
Yeah.
But the point is, he really pushed the envelope, but his paintings are incredibly full of desire. There's a lot of eroticism as well. It's just Caravaggio, yes.
So can you say his full name again?
Caravaggio, that's his name.
Caravaggio. Yeah,
Caravaggio, yeah.
definitely. So I'm going to look into it. It sounds very interesting, like interesting personality.
And like what other painters that I really like actually are more contemporary, and therefore actually some of them I actually had here.
Oh, wow, okay.
One of the things that I have in the gallery is this little 3 bookshelves, which are kind of the library, where people can come and have a look at paintings. And if you okay, I can just show you one. His name is Saturno Butto, also from Italy, like Caravaggio. I'll take the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops. Sorry. So this painter here would be one of my favorites. I had him. And the funny thing, Saturno, it means Saturn, like the... But it's his actual name. That's what I found out. his parents called him like that.
I heard of Ibuto before.
So he makes all these beautiful paintings, but there's violence, there's sex, there's S&M, but there's also all these religious imagery of various types. He's very prolific. This is a beautiful book.
Very nice. I like this one. The previous one.
Some of them, like this one, for example. Where is it?
The yellow background. The one with the there was a halo around. It was a female.
Well, anyway.
Well, yeah, it doesn't.
This one here, for example, it's a different one, but I had it in one of my shows.
Oh wow. And it's very, very
It's
symbolic.
very emotional, right?
Yeah.
Or let me see, I just want to get one at random. Not really random because I'm choosing it, but anyway. This would be another typical scene. So he does also refer a lot to Caravaggio, and this would be like a modern day version. Anyway, lovely paintings.
Yes.
Yeah. He's great. So I mean, I have my passions and my favorites, of course.
Yeah.
One thing I found out about Irish people's relationship with painting, Irish people like to be with friends. That's why they're so nice. And that's why I love them very much. But that also means that they're more interested in what their friends do than what other people do or local. So it's very hard to bring non-Irish artists to Ireland because people don't even people from Cork are considered too far. And it's difficult because people are just not interested because they don't know them. They can't relate to them.
Yeah.
And they don't relate with the art in itself. Most of the time they go, oh, this is very nice. But if they can't talk to the person, if they can't relate at a personal level, it's more difficult to engage them.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of the first few years of the gallery, I mostly had all these international artists because I thought, well, Ireland is 0.1% of the world population.
Sure, yeah.
The other 99.9% might have something to say.
Yeah.
And let's bring them all over here. And then I found out that it was a lot of work and a lot of cost, a lot of effort, and people didn't engage with it as much as I hoped.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, oh, well, yeah, the first thing people want to see is someone from abroad. After all this, of the usual people from, but no, that did not that way worked.
Yeah.
So now I try and even when I do a group show, I always try to mix international and local artists so that the international people, the local artists will bring the people.
Yes,
And
yes,
the
yes,
international artists will supply the art, the different art.
Okay.
So anyway, that was by the by. But anyway, yeah. So that's another artist that I really like. But there's many of them. There's, I have a rather full program. Usually things that are organized a year in advance. So I have very nice shows coming up.
Okay. Anything you can divulge?
Yeah, well, the next show, which actually opens next week,
okay.
is by an Irish artist, and she made all these drawings inspired by the war in Gaza.
Okay.
But they are very unflinching, very harsh.
I see.
So that's kind of, but we're going to do a benefit exhibition. So we decided that all the proceeds will go to Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
Because they do great work.
They do, yeah. All around the world, they do great work, yeah.
So, but it is about the human tragedies. It's not political. It's really about the human tragedy. Yeah. But it's very uncompromising. In showing the violence.
Yeah.
So it's pretty upsetting.
Sometimes it is of importance to not shy away from telling the absolute truth. You know? Yeah.
And then after Christmas, there's going to be something a lot more festive, which is a photographic exhibition by this artist who participated. There was this nightclub called, something underground. But anyway, Dance to the Underground, I think.
Okay.
And they were kind of a goth, but also queer space, and which also kind of were the first club that reopened after the pandemic.
Okay.
And anyway, it was this really special time, and then it ended, like all the good things. And then, so she documented the whole, thing.
Yeah.
And so we got, but the interesting thing, that's why the technical aspect is back.
Okay.
They documented it using only analog cameras.
I see.
And the prints will only be, darkroom analog prints, no digital manipulation. And
someone's going to be happy about that.
Yeah. And that I thought, that's interesting. It's also interesting because it's an interesting document of a good time, and it's going to be a fun exhibition, but also the fact that they decided to do everything old style.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very Baroque concept.
Yes.
Let's do something surprising, even if people don't see it straight away. Let's do something that is a feat of skill. Like, ta-da! I could do it the easy way, but I'll do it the hard way, and that's great.
This reminds me of Steve Jobs, because I don't know if you know, but he was very specific about how he wanted his products to be developed, which means to be just as beautiful inside as they are outside. And even though that led to so much more manufacturing costs, like the very odd time that you would open something up, you would realize that everything is organized in a way that only a designer would do. And if you knew about manufacturing costs, you would be shocked at how beautiful and well organized everything is. And I think there's this kind of a similarity that although you may not initially realize it, there's an extra layer of ability and work that went into it,
Yeah, I think that's what distinguishes real things from kind of
shoddy work.
But sort of things that are only beautiful on the surface,
Sure.
when you scratch the surface, you have to continue to see it. So when you have something that was made with, the dark room, you can feel that there is, sweat and tears and hands that go in it. And it gives you more satisfaction for longer.
It gives you more appreciation for sure.
When you bring home a piece of art, then it stays with you for a long time, and you want it to keep giving things to you for a long time.
For sure. And what date is the one that's next week, the showcase? When is that happening exactly?
The one about Gaza, it's on the 28th. It opens on the 28th of November.
Opens on the 28th of November.
So the space is also used by a lot of people who do alternative stuff.
Okay.
That don't find a space anywhere else. Although this isn't technically a venue, I would like to point out for the insurance people out there that this is not, they do have insurance for a gallery, but it's not a venue that I can't have like ticketed events because there's fire certification. Blah, blah, blah. But, if people want to do private events here, and they often do, again, film screenings. We had a concert last Saturday of two Mongolian musicians, that do throat singing.
Yeah.
Other times, other small concerts. Anything, there's this dance ensemble that I adore from here, and they agreed to show some of their films here. So we did an evening of just watching the dance films that they made, and it was really fascinating. So a lot of events as well.
Amazing, yeah.
It's kind of not very easy to get shows here because it's just so much demand that, even though I only say yes to the people I find interesting, there's just not enough space. Because, this show lasts for 3 weeks, and it's only so many 3 weeks in the year. But anyone who wants to do something, especially if there's something out of the ordinary, I'm happy to get submissions of people. Again, experimental cinema. There's a woman who does a class here called a drawing class it's called The Naked King.
Okay.
Because instead of having new models, which is like, whatever.
Sure.
But they have models that maybe do bondage. So people get to draw the human body in a situation that they wouldn't normally encounter.
Interesting.
So anything that it's a bit weird, I like.
Okay.
The weirder it is, the better.
I know someone, he's also from Mongolia. He plays the Mongolian guitar or something.
Yeah.
Have you had someone like that?
They were playing string instruments, but with the bow. But it's one of those things.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Do you also maybe showcase like indie movies that are a bit out of the norm?
I could, but obviously the problem with indie movies is that they still do have copyright. So
no, but
if the makers come, absolutely.
The person that was part of one of your group shows, he's an indie award-winning indie movie maker, and absolutely, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure you connect with a lot of artists, so you may not remember him, but absolutely, I should if you're interested.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime. I mean, it's not like nothing much. There's a screen, there's a projector, and there's some stools, and people can come here watch it.
And there is a reason that particular episode was so popular, because they have a big following. So you would get people in, and on the way to that indie movie, they may...
but it's not just that though. I mean, one of the things I'm most proud of, so this guy came in a couple of years ago, I think, maybe more. He came inside here to see a show, and he hadn't here, and he said, "Oh, this is the place for me, I love it." I said, "Oh, it's great, it's very nice." But then he met other people here.
Right.
And then they met another artist who was many years ago, has been a drummer in a band that was very famous, called Susie and the Banshees.
I've heard of it, I've heard of it.
Anyway, so they all kind of met here, and then they formed a band.
Oh, wow.
And then I thought, if it hadn't been for this place, they wouldn't have found each other. you know?
They found their hub of fascination and made something out of it. You are
So
the Simon Cowell of
no, because I didn't do anything. I only opened the door. It was, but it happened. And so that's the things that really, the fact that people can come here and then leave a little slightly enriched in some way.
Yes.
Except by stealing, because that's not okay. But enriched and spiritually.
Spiritually.
That's kind of the whole point.
Yes. I couldn't have ended that better. So, it was amazing getting to know you, getting to know about this place. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and this is even the one.
The little one.
Yes.
It's in the small room.
Yes.
The Gubu dolls. They're called the Gubu dolls.
What is the name of the?
The artist doesn't want.
Sorry. Of course.
Yeah, it's called the Gubu Man. The Gubu Man does the Gubu dolls.
Yeah,
it's a long story.
This is amazing. And that you have this area here for people of like-minded interest to come here out of the boring lives, out of the boring work, and just find themselves and find like-minded people and possibly create a band.
Yeah, and even if they're not like-minded,
yes,
it's good too because
might as well.
People can just.
It is the reward of not knowing but then experiencing.
Exactly.
And this was Slim and Light. All right. Sorry, we have this goofy outro. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, it's great.